So in my video yesterday, I was looking at this move to the upside after we had broken this, 4-hour structure, if you want to call it that. You can technically call it 12-hour structure because, you can see that higher low there, higher high, higher low, higher high. What happened then? We came down to break structure. Then after that, we got this move to the upside, and I was saying there is a good chance that this just ends up being a lower high. That, we will eventually come down to put in new lows. And I was talking about the levels of support below us that I was hoping price would get a move down to. And what do you know? Price came down to make a lower low, technically, even though we just wicked it. Price still made a lower low, and we came down right into this box, actually bouncing from it nearly perfectly to the dollar. Now this wasn't an exact level I was waiting for. I actually wanted the lower end of the box. I wanted to come down to this value area high here. But, I guess if you want price to bounce from somewhere, just put a box there and it will respect it, perfectly to the dollar. Give or take about $3 or so. And that was, the highs of the range. There's a reason I put the box there. It's because we had, plenty of wicks here. This was previous resistance, and we have now respected it at least once as support because we've gotten a pretty nice bounce off of it. Now, we did technically come down to put in lower lows. Technically we are in a downtrend, but if you look at that low, you can see that it is only a wick. We did technically SFP this last lower low, which could potentially be a sign that the downtrend does not want to continue much longer. A lot of times when you see SFPs, it's called a swing failure pattern. It's because you failed to confirm a new swing low because we did not close under the level. A lot of times that shows weakness in the downtrend or the uptrend if you SFP highs. And I did enter a little long here, with a little bit of a silly risk reward. I think I actually put my stop loss somewhere down below this wick. I didn't want to cover this wick because that was too far of a move for me. But the reason I took this long is because when I woke up this morning, I took a look at Coinalyze, and to nobody's surprise, we saw a bunch of people FOMO shorting the bottom. As price was making higher lows here, after we had just gotten a massive move to the downside, like from these highs, 5.5%, we of course saw people marketing short at the bottom of the move. They couldn't short anywhere up here, up around the highs of the range. No, they waited until price came down to stop out all of their longs, and then they decided, oh man, my longs are stopped out. We just got this massively bearish move to the downside. Of course it's going to continue, right? And so, we see a lot of people begin to open shorts. You can see that clearly by the CVD creating lower lows and the open interest increasing. And what usually happens when you see divergence, when you have people FOMO shorting the bottom or FOMO longing the top, you tend to see absorption. And in this case, it seems like we may have been seeing some absorption as those FOMO shorters were flopping and groping, literally just entering a trade because you saw a big move, opening a trade because of an emotional reaction. Maybe you had some longs here that got stopped out and now you're pissed, so you want to short, you want to get in on the rest of this move. You think it's going to zero now. So these traders flopping and groping are completely unaware of the whale that is sitting at these lows, waiting for people to be flopping and groping, waiting for people to be shorting the absolute low, so that eventually, once he has enough FOMO shorts in his position, he can scoop up all that liquidity and then send price. Well, I can't inverse this video, but pretend it's upside down, and he will send price to the upside, trapping those shorts underwater. And so that was the first thing I saw as I woke up this morning. Also, when I was checking Market Cipher, I did notice that we have some potentially massive divergences on some of these time frames. The 4 hour, I mean, you can obviously see how far momentum has come up as we've made a lower low here. And even looking at money flow, you can technically say that money flow has made equal or slightly higher highs here, because as we printed this green dot, money flow was right here. It's right about at the same level right now. So not looking super bearish on the 4 hour, but when you come to the 2 hour, money flow is making a lower low, but we do still see that divergence very clearly. Momentum has come up a lot as price has made another lower low. Now looking at the 1 hour time frame, again we see the divergence in momentum, but we also see a very clear divergence with money flow in the red. Money flow making higher lows in the red. So all in all, with the 4 hour divergences pretty much on the 4 hour and down, and the 1 hour divergence in money flow as well, it is seeming like this has potential to be a bottom. We do not have momentum divergence on the 24 minute, but we do see the money flow divergence, which typically on the midterm time frames, if I'm using them to judge higher term time frames, I look more so at the money flow than I do at momentum, because, you know, on the low time frames, a wild move like that will send momentum, you know, pretty much as deep as it can go. That's not surprising. But the money flow increasing, the divergence in money flow, to me shows, strength, and potentially means that these higher term divergences have a higher likelihood of playing out. And we did form a large area of inefficiency on this move to the downside. It happened in one 24-minute candle, pretty much one 12-minute candle as well. You can count this area as 12-minute inefficiency. And basically all things considered, to me, it's looking like there's a good chance that we come up to fill this very quickly. Now, of course, we could come down to make lower lows first. Maybe we wick the lows again, maybe get a move a little bit deeper, and maybe we then fill that inefficient price action later. That is still a possibility. I would be watching VWAP to see if we get a rejection here. And if that's the case, I might put my stop loss either down below this last higher low, local higher low, or I might just close it out and wait for lower, because I would prefer to see a move down to the previous range value area high. You know, if we don't get a move down there, I think just SFPing this last lower low is, reason enough for us to get a move back up towards the highs of the range. So I don't think we have to put in a lower low, but it is still possible. And now for some trade ideas to the upside. So I still have a bunch of short ideas up here. I added a few new ones. So those are pretty much coming off of the previous day levels that I marked out. That's something that I have been doing recently, is during the week I will mark out the previous day levels, the PD, value area high, value area low, and POC. And basically just messing around with these levels, seeing how reactive they are, seeing if, you can take scalp trades off of them, basically, if you get a good reaction, if they are respected. And when I marked out those previous day levels, the PD value area low down here is kind of in the middle of this inefficient price action. You know, I think there's a good chance that we just sweep through this just to kind of fill this inefficient price action. I'm not super interested in this level, but the PD, POC, and value area high are coming in around some areas of confluence up here. So first, the previous day point of control. We have a wick right above it, or right below it. So we could potentially SFP into that, grab that liquidity up there, and get a reaction off of this level. We also have daily open right above there. So this is a zone that I am watching. Also, right above that, we have another little zone of confluence with this daily level and the previous day value area high, which also has a wick right below it that we could grab liquidity from. So I think both of those levels being around the highs of the range could potentially give us good reactions. But I may be a little bit more interested in this high right here, because it is the last lower high in this downtrend that we are in. So, we could potentially SFP that high and then maybe get a move back down towards the lows of the range. Or if we break above this high, if we close above here, then we have potentially broken the downtrend. So this high up here is going to be significant. You could also pull a fib from this high and see where that golden pocket is. Maybe it lines up with this daily and value area low. And it does. Look at that. I'm getting pretty good at eyeing out where golden pockets are. But this actually is not the value area low when you adjust this all the way over here. I pretty much covered this whole area because I'm kind of considering this one larger range now. But when you take the volume from right here, I think, the value area low comes in right about here, right around that golden pocket. Us rejecting off the value area low would potentially be a bearish thing. Maybe that means we have to continue lower if we cannot get acceptance back inside this value area. But with the higher time frame divergences, I think it's pretty likely that we eventually will, even if we kind of do something like this, boom, boom, and then get back inside the range. And yeah, other than that, my levels are still pretty much the same. I talked about all of these key levels up here in previous videos. And I talked about my key supports if we continue moving downwards. And other than that, I'm just going to be basically scalping this local price action or waiting for some of these more key levels. All right, well, that's about it for this one. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. If you were thinking about purchasing Market Cipher, I do have a referral link in the description of my videos. So if you want to buy Market Cipher and simultaneously support the channel, I would very much appreciate it. And other than that, I will see you all in the next video.